What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Billy here, Respect the Game podcast, doing the Baltimore Ravens at Buffalo Bills divisional round preview. Follow us on the socials at the RTG podcast on all of the socials. What's up, everybody? Divisional round is here. The Baltimore Ravens took care of the Pittsburgh Steelers, which I believe we can all agree was a fake 10-6, the record lies type of a team. And the Buffalo Bills destroyed the Denver Broncos at home, which they should have. What do we got to say about this one? It is probably the hottest debated topic in the NFL. Lamar Jackson MVP, Josh Allen MVP. People get crazy about it. Me personally, do I think Josh Allen? So what is your criteria for most valuable player? Because we know the media doesn't have one. Is it stats? Is it stats with your supporting cast? Is it your team record? The media crowned Allen and the Bills duds for the season. They're doing nothing. They lost Diggs. They lost Gabe Davis. They lost Micah Hyde. They lost Jordan Poyer. They lost all these people, right? And that automatically discounted the Bills. And I think that's the reason why the media is pushing for Allen to be the MVPs, because they initially wrote him off in the beginning. And he's proving them wrong. So they're taking it as, we said he was going to be nothing. He's proving us, the experts, wrong. He's got to be the MVP. And then you look at Lamar. The talk about him is last year wasn't even a top 10 quarterback in almost every stat, but won the MVP. Well, because his team didn't have a good run game, didn't have a top receiver. Andrews was hurt most of the year. He had to be the one. So that's why he won it. Look at this year. Andrews is back. Flowers becomes a 1,000-yard receiver. Lamar Jackson is getting better at passing. He has a good coach allowing easy reads for him. And he has been dropping it into, don't get me wrong, he's hitting some nice passes. But they've simplified the offense because they have Derrick Henry, okay? You have Derrick Henry in the backfield. You are not worried about the pass. You are not dropping 7 guys in coverage. You're bringing 7, 8 guys in the box because you are worried about that run-pass option. You're worried about Lamar coming out. You're worried about Henry coming out of the backfield. You're concerned about that. So passing has gotten easier for the Ravens. Now, you're going, oh, you guys are a hater. You're this, you're that. No, I'm not. It's facts. If you have a strong run game, you crowd the box. And then you can just drop passes over their head. That's how it goes. Now you go back to Buffalo. Lose everybody. Josh Allen has to be the one. He has to be the reason that team wins. You've heard me harp on it before. I am not a McDermott fan. I think Buffalo is held back by its coaching. That being said, you lose all of these people, Allen has to step it up. The defense can be run on. They, at times, you've seen give up 30 points to a good team. Sure, Buffalo smacks the bad teams. Most good teams should and do smack the bad teams. But Allen has to be the guy. Lamar Jackson does not. Last year or the year before, we've argued on here before on the Respect the Game podcast when Felix is on here, that with Tyler Huntley, the team still made the playoffs. So if you take out your star quarterback and put in the backup and still make the playoffs, for as dynamic as Jackson is he that important to the team when the backup can take you to the playoffs? Buffalo, if you take Josh Allen off of this roster, my feel is flip the record. If they're 3-13, they're 13-3. They're 5-11, or whatever the new 17 games is, 5-12. They are not a championship type team. Josh Allen's ability to escape, to not take sacks, to protect the ball better this year, the 3rd and 4th down conversions. If he is removed from the starting lineup, Buffalo is not going to do much. Yeah, Cook is a great running back, but no threat for Allen to run. No threat for Allen to pass. You crowd the box. How good is any running back going to be when you crowd the box with no threat to pass the ball? Again, back to the Ravens. That is the Ravens' strong suit. That run is so unstoppable the defense crowds the box, and Lamar just has to pop it open. And then when they start going back a little bit, guess what? Hall of Fame running back Derrick Henry is coming out of your backfield. Possible Hall of Fame quarterback, great scrambler in Lamar running out of the backfield. It's almost unstoppable. For these people to say Lamar Jackson, the stats clearly show he's the better quarterback. One, they play two different games. One is part of a system, and if you saw the reel the other day, I would love for Josh Allen to be a game manager. He almost was this season. Buffalo's had more rushing yards this season, more rushing touchdowns this season from the run game. It's great to have Allen not being Superman. I love it. Just manage the game. Just do 200 yards passing, 1 or 2 touchdowns. That's all you have to do because the run game is there. Timely passing. No, the penalties are, which we'll get to. The team is doing better. So you want your quarterback to manage the game. You don't want him to be a superstar every game. It's going to wear thin quickly. So Allen and Jackson, LOL for you country fans, they play two different games. One is needed for this team to succeed. The other fits perfectly for the team to succeed. My guess is, like it has in the past, if you remove Jackson, the team is going to be okay. Especially now with Derrick Henry. You cannot stop him. And anybody in the back with a bunch of guys crowding the line can dink and dunk over the upcoming linebackers and more of a rush defense. You can dink and dunk and get the ball down the field. Okay? Zay Flowers, 1,000-yard receiver. However you want to put it, yeah, but he wasn't getting 1,000 yards unless Jackson's throwing him the ball. I get it. Statistically, since we quote stats, 1,000-yard receiver. No 1,000-yard receiver for the Bills. Cooper came in midseason, still not really into the offense that much. Shakir, who I think is great, is a number 2, 3 slot on any good team. He's not your number 1. But that's what Buffalo has. Mark Andrews, arguably a top 3 tight end in the league. Nobody's riding home to mom about Knox and Kincaid. As a matter of fact, Kincaid is being considered a bust this year because he has not done anything. Baltimore's team, top to bottom, special teams, all of it, is a superior full 53-man roster to Buffalo, in my opinion. Buffalo in key spots has the better player or the ability to do more with that player. And again, it's not a knock on Jackson. It's not a praise for Allen. He has to do more with less, and he is doing it and is being successful. How long can he be Superman? I hope 3 more games. But they played 2 different games. Stats cannot be the reason you pick an MVP. The record matters. Yes, the stats matter. But who are you throwing to? Who are you running with? Who are your opponents? All that stuff plays in. My focus for this week as a Bills fan is, yes, Buffalo win. Yes, that would be awesome. But on paper, I'm looking, even the potential matchups for the rest of the season are not as exciting as this one, in my opinion. I want good football. I think it's going to be great. I'm very happy. Playing in Buffalo should benefit the Bills, but a run game travels. A run game can play in the heat, in the snow, in the rain. A run game is a very good weapon to have. And Baltimore, I believe, has the best run game in the NFL. Yes, Detroit is fantastic with their tandem when Montgomery was in there. But you've got to account for Lamar coming out of the backfield. You have to account for Henry. I mean, play 1 against Buffalo back in week 4, 87 yards, top speed of 22 miles an hour? Who's jumping on Derrick Henry at 22 miles an hour? Nobody, okay? Speaking of that, let's get to that game. Let's check out that box score. Let's see here. Let me find it. And see what we're working with. September 29th, Buffalo at the Baltimore Ravens, 35-10. Ravens win. As a Bills fan, wasn't the best game. I had a huge problem with the coaching decisions. Right as the half starts, Buffalo gets some momentum, and then some stupid trick play. Curtis to Allen, the fumble. Horrible call. Fumble ruined everything. Here come the Ravens, and they just dominate. Great job for them. But Henry, 87-yard pass. Justice Hill, a 19 pass from Jackson. Henry, a 5-yard pass. Lamar, a 9-yard run. Buffalo had a field goal. They had a Ty Johnson run. Fumble recovered for a touchdown for the Ravens. All in all, a Ravens dominating game. All right. Let's see here. Rushing went to Baltimore. Passing to Baltimore as far as first downs are concerned. Penalties. Now, I've harped on the penalties all season long. The Ravens might be a worse penalty team than the Bills. Ravens in that game, 8 for 79, but they won by 25. Buffalo, 4 for 38. Penalties are a big deal. You heard me say it. I'll keep saying it. Fumbles, both had 2 fumbles. Both lost one. Lamar and Allen both lost a fumble. But where did you lose it? What did you do when you did get the fumble? Did you capitalize on it? Buffalo did not, or maybe a field goal. The Ravens, yeah, they got a touchdown from it. It matters. It matters what goes on. Let me see here. Allen he was 16 of 29, 180, no touchdowns, no picks. Jackson was 13 of 18, 156, 2 touchdowns. So people like to bring up numbers. They're not superstar numbers against better teams, same as Allen's. They're game manager numbers, which are important numbers. He didn't need to go off 156 and 2 touchdowns. That's a perfect game for me for a team that is well-rounded and can dominate. I don't need my quarterback going balls to the wall every game. I need a team effort. So Jackson's numbers here to me were good. Cook 9 for 39, Allen 5 for 21. That's not good. Henry 24 attempts, 199. Started the game with an 87 yards. Hard to come back from. Run game is going to be a big part of this playoff game. Can Buffalo stop that running offense? They are a problem. They are a huge problem. Receiving, Kincaid 5 for 47, Shakir 4 for 62, Coleman 3 for 51. All other Bills players in single digits, as you can see. Baltimore, Hill 6 for 78, Henry 3 for 10, Aguilar 2 for 10, Bateman 1 for 23, Flowers 1 for 10, Likely 1 for 26. Nothing flashy. They didn't have to be flashy. Their running back ran for 199 yards. You don't need to be flashy when you were dominating the other phase of the game as far as running goes. Buffalo didn't dominate any part of that, not passing, not rushing. That last game, week 4, teams are still filling themselves out. Baltimore up until that point was losing, giving up 28 yards a game, 28 points a game. Up until week 4, Baltimore's defense was suspect. They were not that good. Buffalo had to come back against a Arizona team, beat the Dolphins, beat the Jags, feeling good about themselves 3-0, but you're beating up on bad teams. Baltimore's not a bad team. They were figuring things out, and they happened to figure it out against the Bills. So do you take that? We played them once. We know the run. We know this. We know that. If the coaching is good enough, yes. You take that mollywhopping they got, and you build off of it, and you do better. Baltimore, you keep your head clear. We beat them once. That means nothing. That was over 10 games ago. They're the 2nd seed for a reason. That coaching staff, keep your guys hungry. Keep your guys tough. Upcoming now with this divisional round, let's preview the divisional round. Overall team record 12-5, 13-4. Home record 6-2. Buffalo undefeated at home. That's a big deal playing in Buffalo. Away record 6-3. Baltimore has lost 3 on the road. Conference 8-4, 9-3. Strength of victory. The Ravens, their teams they've played 107 and 97, a 525 average. Buffalo 99 and 122, a .448 average. Baltimore has played the tougher opponents. Strength of schedule 153 to 136. Buffalo 135 to 154. Again, that favors the Ravens. They've had the tougher competition. They ended the season on a 4-game win streak. Baltimore did. Buffalo against the lowly Pats team didn't really care. Turnover margin +6 for the Ravens, +24 for the Bills. Baltimore first in total yards, first in rushing yards, 3rd in points scored, 7th in pass yards per game. Baltimore's offense is not a joke. They are serious. Buffalo 10th in total yards, 2nd in points, 9th in rushing, 9th in passing. Similar, top 10 in all the categories. The Ravens are top 3 in 3 of the 4 categories. Good offense with the Ravens. Buffalo's no joke either. Nothing to scoff at. Both these teams are monsters. Points scored 30.5, Buffalo 30.9. I mean, come on. Defensive ranking, total yards allowed, 10th, 324.2 for the Ravens, 17th for Buffalo, 341.5. Points allowed. Baltimore is allowing 21.2 a game. Buffalo's allowing 21.6 a game. Like this. They're right there. They're close. They're similar. Rushing yards allowed. Now, here's where numbers get skewed, okay? Baltimore's usually beating the crap out of teams. When you're up by double digits, the other team is not running the ball that well. They're not running the ball at all. They're trying to pass their way back into the game. I know this because that's how Buffalo was set up. If you have a big lead, the other team is not rushing to come back into the game. You're wasting clock. You're not getting big chunks when you run. So you pass the ball more. But that being said, 80 yards allowed for Baltimore. Buffalo is allowed 115 because you can run on Buffalo. If Buffalo does not get out to a giant lead early, the other team is allowed to stay in the game. You can run on Buffalo. Okay? Pass yardage allowed. 31st, 244 per game from the Ravens defense. Like I said, when you're blowing teams out or beating them badly, the other teams are going to pass their way back into the game. Additionally, aren't they in the division with the Cincinnati Bengals? You're going to have some pass yards there no matter what. Win or lose, you're going to have to deal with some teams. Buffalo's allowed 226 a game. Okay, cool, great. The penalties. So here we are with the penalties. Ravens, they've committed 132 penalties. Buffalo has committed 112. You've heard me multiple times talk about Buffalo's penalty problems. The Ravens have the same penalty problems, it looks like, 20 more than Buffalo. Penalties are going to be an issue. Who's going to have that drive-stopping penalty? Like Buffalo had with the Denver game, the end of the half. A penalty, 2 penalties, 3rd and 30-something, and killed the drive. Who is going to make that mistake? These teams are evenly matched. Okay, these teams are studs. Great quarterbacks, great running backs. Defense, little edge goes to the Baltimore Ravens, in my opinion. Bills Mafia, the crowd. Is it going to be too big for Lamar? Is it going to be too big for Allen? The run game, is Henry going to have one of these weird games where he has 2 or 3 fumbles? Or he has no fumbles ever, and then all of a sudden, oh my God, he can't hold on to the ball? Or is he going to run wild? The RPO, we saw Baltimore against Pittsburgh, I think their second series, 16 straight runs for a touchdown. Holy cow. That's going to be tough. That's going to be tough. Keys to the game, like last time, score more points than the other team, and you're going to win the game. Time control, ball control, time of possession, Who's going to run the ball better? Whose quarterback is going to make that great play to extend the drive? Whose quarterback, whose running back is going to get that 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 to extend that drive? Which one of those players is going to make that mistake? I don't know. I hope it's nobody for Buffalo. I hope Buffalo dominates. I hope the Baltimore Ravens come in second place in that game. It's going to be awesome. I'm excited. The MVP stuff, I don't want to hear it right now. Both do 2 different styles of play. One is needed or the team does not do well. The other fits perfectly into the system and is showing out this season. And good for him. 2 styles asked to do 2 different things for their team. You can't just go on stats. You can't just go on supporting cast. There's so much that goes into it. What is your criteria for an MVP? If you go stats, Baker and Joe Burrow had better stats. If you go record, Mahomes, and why is it always a quarterback? Henry had a great year. That team propelled because of Henry. To me, he's making Lamar that much better. Barkley, 2,000-yard runner. Chase, triple crown in receiving. Why does the MVP always got to be a quarterback? Give them their own record. I'm tired of it. Either way, Buffalo Bills this weekend, divisional round, hosting the Baltimore Ravens. Let me know what you think is going to happen at the RTG Podcast on all of the socials. Like, subscribe, share. Tell me your predictions. What do you think? I hope Buffalo wins. I'll be rooting hard for them. Bills Mafia, go team, go Bills. I'll talk to you guys again soon.